So now it's time to actually draft the research paper. And you've done all the hard work already, although it might not feel like it. You really have. And now it's just a matter of getting this information organized and appropriately connected in your document. So you'll start with the introduction. You don't have to start with an introduction first. I do understand that for some people, beginning the essay is a lot harder, so you can always start writing the body paragraphs if you want to and then go back and write the introduction, but this is going to focus on how to begin your research paper. So when you're talking about the introduction, there are three major parts. You have your attention-getting sentence, you have a summary, and then you end with your thesis statement. Your thesis statement is the last sentence of that introduction paragraph. Okay, so your attention getter that you begin with is anything that would grab your attention. Question, a quote, a statistic are all good ways to begin. A rhetorical device might work well here. It really just depends on your topic. For me, the statistic is my go-to. I think that a statistic grabs people's attention very well, and it also provides a little bit of a glimpse or a preview as to what your topic is. Then a summary of the piece of literature you're working with. And this really should be brief. Maybe only 3 sentences, maybe only 2. Not a long summary here. So think about taking that work of literature and really distilling it down into just the necessary parts for your paper. And then you'll end with your thesis statement. Now you'll probably need some kind of a transitional sentence to go from that summary into your thesis statement just so that it is not awkward. And we'll take a look at a couple examples. Okay, so we're going to look at some student examples first, and then I have my example that's color-coded. So here we go. We've looked at this person's research questions and thesis statement already. This is the one about labyrinths based on looking for Alaska. This writer begins with sort of a statistic, but more just a fun factoid about labyrinths that you might not have known. Then she gives a summary. This summary here is a little bit long. I would try to figure out a way to shorten it up. A lot of summary in this introductory paragraph, and it could be distilled down a little bit more. But by the time we get down to the bottom, we have our thesis statement. We saw this thesis statement before, and here it is in its correct place. Here's another example intro. This person was working with the first Game of Thrones novel, and this person used a quote from the novel itself. It's appropriately cited. That's our author. That's the page number that it came off of. And this is a quote about the gods, which is what this person's research paper is focusing on. So we have our attention getter. Then there is a summary. This is the summary. And here's our transitional sentence. These 2 sentences are the transitional sentences that get us to the thesis, where this person will be working with more of a compare-contrast type essay. Real-world religions compared to the religions in Game of Thrones. And here's the introduction from the example research paper that I've been working with. You can see that I've color-coded it so that you have a visual that shows you all the different elements. I started, like I said, with a statistic. That's what's here in green. And again, it gives us sort of a quick glimpse into what my research topic will be. We know that my research now, based on just this introductory sentence, we know it's going to have something to do with Sweden. We know it's going to have something to do with guardianship. My summary focuses on that. There's a lot that happens in that novel, but this is the part that I'm focused on. So that's the part that I chose to really use in my summary. And I decided to make my transition from the summary to my thesis statement by using questions, because then my thesis statement answers those questions. Remember when you're working with the introduction that you really do have all of these parts done. It's just a matter of finding them and reorganizing this information. You probably already have something that you can use as an attention getter, whether it's a statistic, whether it's a quote, maybe it's already one of your research questions. So you already have something that you can probably use or modify into an attention getter. A quick summary of the piece of literature that you're working with, you probably have that somewhere too. Think about the creating a research question worksheet where you listed the characters and the setting and some conflicts at the beginning. Pull from there. And then you definitely have already written your thesis statement, so you put that there. So it's just a matter of taking those pieces from all the different places and now putting them together and doing some polishing so that they work better together. If you've watched this video all the way through, send me a message with the words coffee mug and I'll give you a bonus point.